In the recent months and so on, you see, again, the whole world was watching. Mercenaries came from Europe, then other confused brothers and sisters from our continent. They sent in arms, they sent in weapons, soldiers, they sent in everything to support a government that is killing its own people, that supports genociders, people who killed our people here. 1 million people we lost in 100 days were murdered by the same bastards. Of course, sometimes supported by these same people who give lessons. So they came and gathered along our border. If you people knew the stories of what was found in Goma, in Bukavu, and so on, you would understand it. You would understand that the issue was not about fighting so-called FCM-23, it was aimed at Rwanda. Boy, you ask them what happened. What happened was only a fraction of actually what we could do.
Disclaimer. The content on this channel is based on reliable public sources and credible online information. It is intended strictly for educational and analytical purposes. We do not promote or endorse political violence, hate speech, or any form of discrimination. Our goal is to inform, not to inflame. Thanks for being here. Let's stay informed together. Welcome to Talk of Africa 360, your source for insightful news, analysis, and thoughtful commentary. If you value informed perspectives and fact-based reporting, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an update.
Liberation Day, Your Excellency, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to offload. Yes, there was a peace deal that was signed in the US not long ago, Your Excellency, and we're talking about a potential Washington Accord that is upcoming. But I'll take you back to when the peace deal was signed between Rwanda and DRC. Immediately after that peace deal was signed, President Trump of the US said that he had secured a minerals deal for the US. Shortly afterwards, the former DRC President Joseph Kabila on social media dismissed the peace deal aspect and referred to what was signed as a trade agreement. Some people think that the Trump administration does not understand the situation in Eastern DRC very well. What is your comment about that? And what do you say to those who call Trump's approach exploitative in comparison to the Biden administration? That's the question, Your Excellency. My name is Jackie Lumbasi. I host The Real Talk on RTV.
Good. Well, I would start by asking simple questions. Before the deal brokered by the United States in the Trump administration, whatever name you may want to give it, what did other administrations, whether in the United States or Europe or anywhere else, did they offer? What is it? I mean, we could be talking about something. Let's talk about it. Before we come to Trump administration and the deal brokered, you are a journalist, you follow different events and the news and so on, you put things in their perspective, in history and so on and so forth. make a reference. Well, even if you don't make it to me now, but in your mind, try to remember what other deals that had been brokered by anybody that were even suitable to deal with the problem in DRC that may be failed because of this or that, and you may put the blame on anybody you wish to. So my question is, where is that? Therefore, if there isn't, maybe we can even go into more details later. Trump administration came. First of all, I thank them that they even paid attention to the problem at all. They could have ignored that problem like many have, and just focused on what is happening in the Middle East, in Ukraine, Russia, Iran, and those are, in people's minds, more important than having to deal with this African problem. It shouldn't matter to anybody, as we have seen it in the past. So, but they took time. Now, I'll try to summarize what my reading of that deal is and how it came about. Once they decided they are going to deal with the matter, there are really three pillars it is built on. One is economic, if you will. The other is security. The other is political. And I think these three are so closely related that you can't just deal with one ignoring the other, because the three are part of the problem. In fact, the main parts of the problem. Now, people tend to concentrate more on economic for a reason. I think some of the players in the region were concerned with the problem. They had in their mind to leverage these resources because they think the resources are very attractive. So therefore they would, like throwing a bait and saying, I'll give you this, I'll give you, so you control this, which everybody in the world needs and may. So I'll give it to you. But those who threw the bait to those who would help in the problem were really not looking for a durable solution to their problems or to the problems that affect us in the region. They just wanted to have an advantage over adversaries and give a sweetener to people to say, we'll give you this, please help us deal with M23 and FCM23 or Rwanda as it is perceived, or our enemies. And that then people would just be attracted to that, take it, and address the problem the way the government of Congo saw it. No, but the Trump administration kept looking at a combination of these three matters that need to be addressed: the political, the security, and the economic. While in some other people's minds, it was just economic. You want a deal, you want money, you want minerals, you want please take it, but and save us from these troublemakers, even if it doesn't address the problem, depending on how they see it. So I'm sure that is what is still affecting, and maybe will affect, the implementation. Because what people had in mind is not necessarily 100% what they are getting. But in addressing any problem like this one, it's give and take. You don't get 100% what you want, because there are many parties concerned with the problem. Each one maybe gets a piece of what they wanted, another gets a piece of what they wanted, and together stability comes out of it. So for me, I think there is a chance that we may get somewhere with that. And why I asked the previous question, the other question about the previous handling, the different administrations handled this matter, it was like actually there was less caring for how to deal with this matter than we have now. Because for them, it would just be, M23, sanctions, Rwanda, and that's it. But how do you handle things like this and expect? I don't think they have even learned from history. In fact, it is the same people also who failed in those years that, and now because we talk to many of them, it's like, yeah, but what do you think about this Trump thing? You know, we see, but, and it's like they don't even hide the fact that they are disappointed because they are not at the center of it. It's like, what do we have? For us, what do we have in it? And I tell them, but that's none of my business. You were here all these years doing nothing except doing the wrong thing. Because I asked some of them, when you really went all out and were sanctioning Rwanda, sanctioning M23, praising the other side, and then vague about FDLR, and you know, what did you really think you were doing that would address the problem? So why would you be asking me anything? You should have asked me that time. You did, I explained to you, you didn't listen to me. You decided to do things the way you wanted because you thought... And in fact, I also don't stop reminding them that actually they are part of the problem. The main part of the problem of this Congo situation is external, in actual fact. Look at the UN presence in Congo. How many years has it been there now? So, and I keep asking people, You sat long ago and decided to create this mission. You did. But it's a couple of decades it's been there. You never take stock of what you achieved, what you are doing there. But you keep running with the machine, keeps going. Second, coupled with that, if you look at, you have heard of something called the group of experts who tell the stories of what's happening on the ground, who are supposed to guide some of the actions and so on and so forth. The expertise they provide, the reports they write, actually do not have anything to do with the situation itself. These reports were written long ago, when they were being given the mission. So they just come to make sure that everything conforms to that as of origin. Because that's why you always find it's all others guilty in this situation of different things, except the actual perpetrators.
The global AI market is projected to reach $1.77 trillion by 2032. Do you have the skills needed to seize this opportunity? Build a rewarding career in AI with the postgraduate program.
You will never find they write anything comprehensively about FDLR. You'll never find they write anything comprehensively about how government institutions are connected with FDLR in spreading hate ideology, genocide ideology. Things that are done in broad daylight for everybody to see. So you wonder how experts cannot see that. But all the reports, 75%, it's blame on AFC M23 and Rwanda. And they're always tight because they say, Rwanda-backed M23. You will tell me in your research, if you ever saw anywhere DRC-backed FDLR, you will never. So the narrative is already written. They just come here to make sure things are adjusted to suit what they want. They talk about minerals as the center of the whole problem. By the way, they should also blame themselves, because if you highlight minerals and then later on you blame somebody for also saying, yes, we have a deal in minerals, but around that we want to solve a problem, because they are the ones who highlighted the minerals in the first place. So how do they blame Trump administration for saying we got a big deal on minerals? Yeah, but you made the minerals the issue. You, the people who are blaming everybody, including blaming the Trump administration. But the way they used that, it was like Rwanda is just in Congo doing whatever, supporting M23, or even the existence of M23 is about minerals, according to them. So they keep playing, even overplaying this narrative. In the end, it works to the detriment of the solution to the problem. Now, it really becomes it's like having arsonists, being the judge and the prosecutor of people for burning down the house. The very ones who burnt down the house are the ones in the seat to judge, to prosecute, and everything. This is what happened. So some people oversimplify this matter, and take it just to the surface. It's about blaming FC M23, Rwanda, former president of DRC, you mentioned. By the way, do you know that maybe, I don't know why you should never forget things conveniently. You know how the current president came to be president? He was just called to the office, and this man thought he was making a good deal, and they handed him power. Do you also know that actually there were witnesses, heads of state? Did you know that? One of them being the former president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta. The other one being the president of Egypt, Sisi. The other one being President Ramaphosa of South Africa. You ask to go and visit them and ask them this question. So this whole thing, you see, no, I wish they could actually come forward and say, hey, wait a minute, by the way, we know this story. the story, and the other thing is, you also know that Rwanda being blamed for M23, FC-M23, Eastern Congo, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Fine. You can blame us for doing whatever we could to make sure FDLR doesn't cause Rwanda problems, and whoever was supporting that.
As reactions continue to pour in from across the continent, one thing is clear. Africa is demanding respect, sovereignty, and accountability. Was this just a diplomatic misstep or a deeper sign of shifting global alliances? We'll be watching closely. If you found this story important, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real, unfiltered African news. This is Talk of Africa 360, telling the stories that matter.